Hello everyone, I'm John, host of Video Games in the World, and welcome to my Video Games in the World gaming channel with this new commentary playthrough of the first Legend of Zelda video game by Nintendo. Hard to believe that this game series is 37 years old. Okay, here's the story. Many years ago, Prince of Darkness Ganon stole one of the Triforce with power. Princess Zelda had one of the Triforce with wisdom. She divided it into 8 units to hide it from Ganon before she was captured. Go find the 8 units link to save her. So here are all the treasures. You got the heart, which recovers your health. The heart container gives you an extra heart. Fairy, clock stops the enemies. Rupee, the source of currency. Potions that recover your health. The letter, which you need for the potion. Food. Sword, white sword, magical shield. Blah, 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 you know. And we got the recorder, the power bracelet, the raft, the step ladder, magical rod, book of magic. You know, I'm happy that I'm doing a Legend of Zelda playthrough right now with commentary, because right now I'm just playing Tears of the Kingdom and I really enjoyed it. And boy oh boy. Now, many Legend of Zelda games in the past, some of them were too easy, but some of them were pretty hard. Pretty difficult, you know. But Breath of the Wild, that's like that was pretty challenging. It's dangerous to go alone. Take this. The first iconic line in the Legend of Zelda history. Yeah. So first, we are going to the first dungeon of the game. No need the fairies, but I killed most of the enemies so I can get some currency, the rupees. Okay, levers. Levers, Octoroks, and Soras. Yeah. Now the clock that stops your enemies. Freezes them. Now red Octoroks are the weak. Now red enemies are usually the weak ones. The blue ones are a lot stronger. So you gotta be careful. Okay, so this is the very first palace. It's called the Eagle. Now, regarding the Legend of Zelda, the first Zelda game that came out in 1983 is part of a timeline known as the Fallen Hero timeline, according to Hyrule Historia, which explains the timeline of The Legend of Zelda. So the first timeline goes like this: the creation of Hyrule, Skyward Sword, the Minish Cap, the Minish Cap, the Four Swords, and then Ocarina of Time. So then, after the events of Ocarina of Time, the timeline splits into 3. Now, there are 3 timelines. There's the adult era, the child era, and the defeated hero and the fallen hero timeline. Now, in both the child and adult era timelines, the hero is successful. So in the child era, it turns out that Link warned Zelda about Ganon and not to open the door to the sacred realm. So Zelda tells him to get the hell out of there. Take the Ocarina of Time and get the hell out of there. And get the hell out of Hyrule. Which leads to the events of The Legend of Zelda Majora's Mask. So Ganon is to be executed, but he tries to escape from his bonds and he succeeds in killing one of the 6 sages, but still he is sent to the Twilight Realm. Which leads to the events of Twilight Princess. And, okay, so there's a map. So then, after Majora's Mask, hundreds of years pass, and we go to the event of Twilight Princess, which is the Shadow Invasion. After Twilight Princess is Four Swords plus Hyrule Adventure, Ganondorf reincarnated, and Vati resurrected. Oh, Jesus, I dropped the bomb by accident. So, here's the bow. And by the way, in this game, you shoot an arrow, it costs you a rupee. Okay, so rewind from the hero timeline where the Sacred Realm was actually protected. So in the adult era, Ganondorf was sealed, but Zelda sent Link back in time. Ganon is revived, and the people await for their hero, and so the gods decide to flood the land of Hyrule and tell the people of Hyrule to go to higher mountains, which leads to the event of The Legend of Zelda: The Wind Waker. After the events of The Wind Waker, her Phantom Hourglass, and after Phantom Hourglass, a new continent is discovered, which leads to the event of The Legend of Zelda: Spirit Tracks. And then there's a third timeline where the hero is defeated, Ganon takes the Triforce from both Link and Zelda, and he becomes Demon King Ganon, but he is then sealed, and that was the era of Hyrule's decline and the last hero, which leads to A Link to the Past. After A Link to the Past, Oracle of Seasons and Oracle of Ages, then Link's Awakening, then and after that, A Link Between Worlds. After that, the first Legend of Zelda, and then Zelda 2: The Adventure of Link. But then, some people would say that the three timelines came together somehow, which led to The Legend of Zelda: Breath of the Wild. After Breath of the Wild, Tears of the Kingdom. Okay, so I got the very first piece of the Triforce of Wisdom. And just defeated the boss, Aquamentus. Now, The Legend of Zelda, since 1986, has become a very popular game series. Everybody... Link fights Ganon, saves Princess Zelda, the Triforce, you know how it is. And in some Zelda games, he travels to different worlds, like Koholint Island in Link's Awakening, in Holodrum, and Labrina in Oracle of Seasons and Oracle of Ages. Is, you know how it is. Oh boy, I actually wish that we had The Wind Waker and Twilight Princess on the Switch. That would be so cool. And Nintendo should bring back some game series that we loved that seemed that they have disappeared. Game series like F-Zero and Star Fox. Great games, both of them. Okay, so we're going to the second dungeon, which is known as the Moon. And I hope you guys enjoyed my Fire Emblem playthrough. Boy, that was long. After so many tries and trying to not get my units killed, you know. Okay, so we're gonna get our first heart container. We're gonna need like 5 hearts in order to get the white sword, and after the white sword board, it's gonna take like 12 hearts in order to get the magical sword. I already beat Breath of the Wild. It was an awesome game. Really, really awesome. But challenging though. But the bosses in the four Divine Beasts were like too easy. And what I like about Zelda, Breath of the Wild, and Tears of the Kingdom is that they finally have voice dialogue after so many years of waiting. Because since Ocarina of Time, I was hoping to hear voice dialogue, but what we heard in Ocarina of Time, Twilight Princess, The Wind Waker, and Skyward Sword, all we heard were like grunts, screams, sighs, laughing, crying. And now, as far as I'm concerned, in Majora's Mask, I remember the little girl saying, "Father!" when you get the Gibdo mask. And in The Wind Waker, you hear Link say, "Come on!" But Link doesn't talk anyway. Some people will say that Link doesn't talk because he's mute. But personally, I would prefer to say that we are the ones doing the lines for him. Perhaps. Okay, so we are in the second dungeon, the moon. There are snakes. And by the way, I remember that this actor from Stranger Things, Gaten Matarazzo, who plays as Dustin, would like to see a Legend of Zelda movie, but a Zelda movie without dialogue, without voice dialogue, where like the music and the action do all the stuff. Nah, it could feel like a silent movie if you ask me. Okay. Now, after the success of the Super Mario Bros. Movie, it may be unlikely that a Legend of Zelda animated movie may happen by the same people by the same studio that made the animated Mario movie. Illumination. The same guy who brought you Minions, Despicable Me, and so many other cool animated movies from them, you know. Well, a nice nod to the Zelda to that 1980 Zelda cartoon, which was a cheesy classic, will be Link in the animated movie saying, "Well, excuse me, princess." Yeah. And to think that the cartoon was the Zelda cartoon for the 1980s Super Mario Bros. Super Show is oh Jesus. Is actually based on the first game. We all remember that cartoon where Link is always whining, "Excuse me, princess!" And every time Zelda refusing to kiss him. Jesus Christ. Yeah, Link was a bumbling idiot in the cartoon. So, Link and Zelda in the cartoon were voiced by Canadian actors Jonathan Potts and Cynthia Preston. Oh, cartoons. I miss the old days. Yeah, the 80s Mario cartoon was pretty cheesy, but a classic. They also made a cartoon of a Super Mario Bros. 3 titled The Adventures of Super Mario Bros. 3, which is my favorite Mario game of the old days. Oh, get those plumbers! That freaking fairy could have been useful to me earlier. Yeesh. Okay, I got the magical boomerang, which flies a lot further than the original boomerang. Now, Breath of the Wild gave me vibes from, not only from the first game, but from the second game as well. Like, the Lynels. Holy shit. And the Lynels were... Man, those guys were huge! Okay, I'm approaching the boss now, which is the Dodongo. And the Dodongo dislikes smoke, everyone. Which means you gotta use the bomb. Kaboom, baby. And once this dungeon's over, I'm gonna wrap this up, everyone. Oh, Jesus. Gotcha. Okay, that's the second piece of the Triforce of Wisdom. And that's it, everyone. So, until the next clip, everyone. Later.